come along. Now, Leah might just pour out the second whiskey for us now, and this next one you're going to get, as I've said before, this one is made with commercial barley, which we buy from the maltings of MacLellan, ready malted to our spec. And this is a little bit peatier.
Quick question: was there a reason for going with the lower phenol level, the lower peated level with the 100% Islay?
Yes, it's a time, like I said, it's a time thing. We don't have long enough we can't burn the peat fire for long enough because the barley goes onto the kiln first thing on a Tuesday morning, the fire goes on immediately, but when the guys go home at night, the fire has to go out. So we get somewhere between 7 and 12 hours of peating. In a commercial maltings, that will be peated 24 hours a day, maybe for a day and a half or whatever.
Oh, I thought you were just joking.
No. I never joke. I'm very serious.
So if you were to do another 100% Islay, first off, there's a question there: are you going to do another one? And if you do another one, do you imagine that the peating level could be different from the first release?
No, we'll intend to keep this lower because what we want to have for our customers, we want to have a contrast between the 100% Islay and the mainstream Kilchoman. We want to have a brand which is here and a brand which is here, rather than have two that are close together and may confuse the public. And we're also, as a business entity, we're also looking to appeal to as many people as possible. And we've already established, even in this room, that some people like a lower level of peat, some people will obviously like a higher level, and some people don't like it at all. so we want to have a contrast.
But he does want a second glass.
Yeah, Kilchoman for me is a very dangerously drinkable whiskey for its age. And as you say, it's very clean in the palate. It has a nice long finish, and you'll find that as you go on with the two you're about to taste it. It has a nice long finish. It's a very attractive product, and for me, generally speaking, I would say that it drinks at least 4 years older than it actually is. And I hope somebody in the audience here will back me up on that when you taste it. So the second one you're on now is what we call the spring release. Now, when the distillery started to begin with, because the stocks were low, what we did was we did some seasonal releases. So one year we might do a spring, an autumn, and a winter. The next year we might do a spring, a summer, and a winter, whatever. It wasn't always 4 seasons. You know, in Islay sometimes we have 6 seasons in a year, and it's raining in all of them. But we would do 3 or 4 seasonal releases. But now what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and move forward and produce a whiskey which will be constantly available, and we're working on that at the moment, and the first of that will be hitting the US before terribly long. So you know, but this is a batch release. This whiskey that you're tasting now is made with commercial barley. It's a mixture of 3 and 4 year old Kilchoman. Okay? It's malted to 50 parts per million.
Quite a bit sweeter than
it is exceptionally sweet. And like I said, it's the dangerously easy whiskey to drink. I mean, obviously before I moved jobs, I left a good job to go to Kilchoman. So obviously I did a little bit of research beforehand. I was really struck with it. At a very young age I thought, well, this is pretty good as it is. It's got to get better, so, you know, it's I think it's remarkable. Yeah. And this one is, say, a combination of 3 and 4 year old. I would contend it drinks like a 7 or an 8 year old. But I'm interested to hear any views you might have.
Even though this one has a higher peating level,
Yeah.
the 100% Islay had a more medicinal quality to
This
it.
is very interesting because last night we had people with exactly the same view. We did a tasting in the bar last night, and with a lot of people who said the one with the low phenol is more obvious to begin with, but it goes away quicker. The one with the higher one is not so obvious at the beginning, but then when you taste it, when you actually get it in the back of your throat, you know. Yeah.
Sure.
It is quite interesting because a lot of people last night had exactly the same view as you. Yeah, sorry.
That's right.
So the peat that you use to do your own is obviously
It's
Islay
Islay
peat,
peat,
and the
yeah.
maltings at MacLellan, they obviously use Islay peat as well.
They use Islay peat too,
So
but from different parts of the island. But you can do different peatings with different. If you imagine, Ed was talking about peat being the nearest relation to coal. It's peat before it becomes coal. So obviously, the deeper you go, the more intense the peat is. It's more coal-like. The vegetation which is in it has actually been totally sort of how would you say, it's been sort of amalgamated into it. So it's more like a paste. But whereas the peat near the top of the surface has still lots of roots and whatnot in it. So it depends where your peat comes from, how it burns. And obviously we're looking for peat taken from quite near the surface, because what we want is a lot of smoke. So we want damp peat. In fact, at Kilchoman quite often in dry weather, when the peat's really dry, we actually put some aside. We have like a big dustbin full of water, and we actually put peats in there and let them really soak again. Because what we want is not heat. In the kiln, when we're adding the smoke, we don't want heat, all we want is smoke. So the fire is not very big, the fire is only tiny, making lots of smoke. And in a whole year, we would burn maybe 4 tons of peat. So it's a tiny amount. And one other thing I would add to what Ed was saying earlier, although he was correct about the peat use and whatnot, in Britain nowadays, the biggest use of peat has nothing to do with distilleries at all. The biggest use of peat is to do with garden centres. And garden centres actually use peat in a very wasteful way, because they take it off the surface and they actually change the look of the land. Whereas a lot of the peat, when it's cut, is actually what we would call extruded peat, and that's actually cut with a machine which goes down through the surface, and it takes the peat from maybe a foot under the ground and it puts it back up through a pipe onto the ground where it lies to dry. The surface just closes up again, so all you've got is a little slit in the surface. So when the peat's been taken off for distilling, the ground looks just exactly like it did, but it's a fraction of an inch lower.
So
Is that why you see?
moist
Absolutely.
Is that why you see the peat that's like in a tube?
Yes, it looks like great big sausages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't taste like sausage, but it looks like it. so it's extruded, whereas garden centres, as I say, make a very wasteful use of peat, because they come along with a machine which skims it off the top of the ground, chops it all up into fine, like you would use for putting your plants and whatnot.
But my flowers look so lovely.
Yeah, they do, and everyone takes a view with peat. They say, well, you know, we're using a lot of peat, but somebody else is going to suffer eventually.
We're using it the wrong way.
I don't think we would worry about
peat.
About the peat used for distilling, or to be quite honest, even for garden centres, because I mean, in areas in Islay, the peat is meters deep. I mean, it's going to last for thousands of years.
John, with your small kiln, what's the difference between your small kiln and then the maltings at Port Ellen, which are pretty more? Well, they're probably more efficient, more industrial.
Yes, they're a little bit. I mean, they're a little bit more aggressive, even if you like, because they will have forced air being fed in to make the fire burn faster. Whereas all we have is a little smouldering heap. We have an exhaust fan on the top of the kiln, which actually draws it very gently, so it draws the peat up through the barley. The barley is spread probably to a depth of a little bit more than knee height on me. So it's that depth, and this little exhaust fan just draws the smoke very gently through it. Because the barley goes onto the kiln quite wet, we would call that green malt. The malt has been grown on the floor. It's still quite damp when it goes onto the kiln. In fact, it's normally about 40, Kilchoman at least, is 41–42% moisture, and with the barley at that level of moisture, the peat attaches itself very well to it, and it does the job just perfectly.
What can you say that sets you apart, maybe compared to somebody else in Islay that we all might recognize, like your practices versus their practices? Like, is it all pretty much similar, or are you a little bit more old-fashioned? I mean, everyone seems. I mean, Scotch is not going to become a modern thing, and there's not going to be like robots doing this anytime soon. No. But what sets you apart? Is there anything from anyone else?
Well,
I think
I would like to think that we are a little bit innovative in that we're open to suggestion, we're open to changing things, we're open to taking good advice. Whisky making generally across the board is pretty similar. It's pretty similar. Right. There are differences of type of plant. Some working practices, there are differences, and I think that what's happened at Kilchoman, because it's a new business, Anthony our managing director, has taken a lot of good advice. He's taken pieces from other businesses that he likes and put them together, and then I've now joined him after 21 years of Bannahaven to bring maybe a wee bit more technical expertise and actually tease a little bit more out of the distillery, because it's such a small distillery. It's not hugely efficient, as you were saying. It's not hugely efficient. We don't have these
Well, they have 100 or 2 years of ironing out wrinkles,
Yeah,
whereas
but
you guys have like.
But
6 or 7.
the other thing they have, which I think works in our favour, the other thing that big distilleries have is there's always a drive to get as much out of a ton of barley as possible. I mean, when I worked at Bannahabin, we were under pressure all the time. Worked for a company with 7 distilleries. We had like a league table, so Highland Park get 402 litres per tonne, Bannahabin get 403, Glenrothes gets 404. So there was always a battle to be at the top of the efficiency level, if you like. We don't care at Kilchoman. We would like to get 415 litres a tonne. If we only get 400, I'm quite happy to argue my case in that we're getting 400 litres of absolutely perfect spirit.
Yeah, it's about quality.
So we're on quality rather than quantity.
Right.
We like a bit more quantity if we can get it, but the driving force is quality. The driving force will always be quality. We're a niche product at the top end of the market, and that's where we intend to be, and you get that way by doing things properly and not rushing at it and trying to get absolutely every litre. I would rather have 400 litres of alcohol of A quality spirit than have 430 of B quality spirit, if you get what I mean. Yeah, it's maybe a long-winded answer to your question, but we're driven by quality, and you know, every litre's a prisoner. So the second whiskey, like it, you've all gone very quiet. Am I talking too much?
No, it's fine. I'm going to pass around the 330 while
Yes,
you
you
talk
can.
about the
Yeah,
second one.